Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's InfoBite on resource finding refreshers, research tips and tricks for getting obscure items. I am Rachael Parlier, Interlibrary Loan Chief Librarian, and I am super excited to be talking to you all today. A few housekeeping things. I'm totally open to this being interactive, so if you have any tips or tricks you want to add in, please feel free to put them in the chat, unmute, or if you're in the room, speak up. I'm not the authority on finding all the resources. I am an authority on finding resources. I am a librarian, but we all are. We all know our stuff. So I just want us to be able to some resources, some best practices, things like that for being able to find things that are maybe a little bit trickier to find on a day-to-day basis. I'm gonna switch slides here. So today we're gonna go over a lot of stuff, kind of a one-stop shop for finding resources, or the process that I would go through if I get a really obscure request, partial citation, something like that. So first and foremost, we're going to go over the AUL website, all the goodies on there, because there's a lot of awesome stuff there. And we use it every day, but sometimes there's different ways of searching it and things like that that can be helpful. I would be remiss if I did not talk about interlibrary loan and document delivery, so I'll talk about that as well. Department of the Air Force publications, AFIs, AFRs, etc., are also another big request we get, so I'm going to go over that briefly. Google Scholar can be a fabulous resource, as well as general web resources like Google itself and any search engine or web browser. And then I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over some AI best practices and what to do, what not to do with using AI for research and resource finding. On the AUL website, oh, one more housekeeping thing. I'm going to be switching between these slides and going live. So if I'm describing something and it seems like I'm not pointing to the right thing, online folks, let me know and I will make sure I'm sharing the right tab. But right now we're on the slide still. So I like to start with the AUL homepage search bar. This is a great place to start for any generic searches, general resource finding, keyword searches especially. This is a great place to go if you don't know exactly what it is that you're looking for, but you know that you need something for an assignment, you need resources, stuff like that. Then once you have focused that in a little bit, let's say you come up with a specific publisher or journal that seems to be really well suited to topic, you can go to journal search on our website, which is right here. So you can click journal search to either search by journal title or article title. I like to check both. In interlibrary loan, oftentimes we'll start by searching in the main search bar for an article title. If we don't find it that way, we'll go to journals or articles and then we'll search the journal title. So sometimes there's overlap, sometimes there's not. It's always good to double check yourself. Next up, after that, what I typically do is go to the citation finder. So this is if I have a complete or mostly complete citation, and this has been helpful to me in interlibrary loan. That can be accessed from the advanced search option of the Air University Library website, which I'm trying to get to load. But it will be an option in the top menu. Okay, so we'll go to advanced search. We'll go to wait for Amnet. And then we'll go to this top menu, the more ... and Fetch Items Citation Linker. This is a great resource. You just put in any of these informational fields that you have information for, whether it's an article, a book, or a journal, and you'll press submit, and it'll say if we have it, where it is. If we don't have it, the publisher or perhaps other information that can lead you to find it. After Citation Finder, I like the expand results option on the AUL search page as well. So that's another facet in our advanced search, or from our regular homepage. You can type literally anything in the keyword search, and if you are not finding what you're looking for, let's say this article is almost what we need, but not quite, we need this exact type of thing or something slightly different or more relevant, you can hit this expand my results button, toggle that little switch there, and that will show you things in addition to what Air University Library has. It will also show you items that Air University Library does not necessarily have access to, but we have the citations for. So this one here says no online access. We can click on it, however, and get all of the citation information and see that it's from neuroquantology. Ooh, that's a tricky word. And look up in our databases, perhaps on the publisher's page or in Google Scholar or other outside sources. You can see if we have that there. Additionally, you can request a loan request for items like these by using that expand search toggle. So you can click right here to put in an interlibrary loan request through Tapasa, and it will auto-populate that citation information into your request. So all you have to do is make sure your account is logged in or created, and verify the information and hit send, and the ILL office will take care of the rest. And then databases, again, is another part of the AUL website. Many of our database resources are linked in Primo so that you can view them from the regular AUL search bar. However, many are not. So if you see something that looks very geopolitically, and you've got an EPME student looking for dime fill issues on a specific geopolitical region, I find that Taylor and Francis is an example of a database that you can go to for those sorts of things. So on our database page, look through those different categories, look through the information icon next to each database to see the description for them and see which one might best fit your research needs, and try searching for the item in there as well. And then finally, if you suspect the item may have classification to it, check ALMA. However, then the student or patron will have to go through their security manager to access any classified documents or anything like that. But ALMA will have records that are not published in Primo, so you can look for those to see, do they exist? Are they here? You can tell people yes or no. You can't give more details than that beyond you need to reach out to your security manager. Okay, so I already touched a little bit on interlibrary loan and document delivery. I touched on the expand results part of that, which is where you can go directly from an item's record or citation to an interlibrary loan request. You can also log into the Tapasa account straight from the library's homepage under the services tab, and then punch in the information yourself to make a request. Finally, you can log into your Tapasa account and do a WorldCat search. So if you're not exactly sure what you're looking for, or you have an incomplete citation, you can also search WorldCat to see what we might be interlibrary loan and place a request through to PASA that way. One more that is worth mentioning on interlibrary loan and document delivery. The document delivery thing is sort of new to me, but it's very exciting because basically what it does is, from my understanding, if we have something that a student wants and they put it in an interlibrary loan request, I just change it to document delivery and fulfill the request through AU library. So we do want to gear students towards using the library properly, finding our resources, things like that. But this can also be a teaching tool to say, hey, or for example, if a article is available on one of the open access repositories online, we can say, hey, this is freely available online. Here's a bit. ILL still gets the stats and the patron still gets the information they need, but we're not spending other libraries' time and money and copy paper trying to get those resources. Next, we have departments. So the two places that I primarily rely on for DAF publications are the Air University Library Digital Archives, which are linked here, and again from the AU Library website under Digital Archives button. And then the other thing I like to do, if they're not in the digital archives, is I will Google Air Force e-publishing, because I don't have their URL memorized, even though it's super easy. But this is dual purpose, because when you Google Air Force e-publishing, you can see both their publications and forms links right up front, and obsolete products right up front. So if it's something current that you're looking for, you'll hit publications and forms. If you're looking for something obsolete, you'll hit the obsolete products one, because these menus are a little nested and can be confusing on their site. So let Google do that work for you. Just Google Air Force EPUBs and select the option you need from there. Google Scholar is fantastic, and that is where I find, honestly, about 80% of my open access document delivery requests that I get. One of the tips with Google Scholar is when you're searching for a topic or citation or whatever it is, when you find something you want, click this little sneaky button here to view all the versions, because let's search something. Often the first link will work, but if we find something that is perhaps a little bit more obscure or comes with a paywall, we can search for it through our databases. We'll know, for example, this is hosted on JSTOR. So instead of logging in through our library here, we'll go back to the AUL webpage, go to the JSTOR permalink, and sign in with our AUL username and password. But if we go back and just look at all 5 versions, sometimes you'll be able to see by scrolling down, if the JSTOR link's not working, we could try ProQuest. We can try this Muse JHU. They'll have PDFs posted right in Google Scholar. So it's very worthwhile and advantageous to view all versions of each article to make sure that you can get access. If one doesn't work, go on down to the next one. General web resources are also great for finding obscure items, particularly incomplete citations. So search it on Google. From there, you might be able to find something like an ISBN. Then you can do an ISBN search to get more publication information, copyright year, things like that. Amazon and other online booksellers often have a lot of information on each record of each of their items, especially for books. For journals and periodicals, there's the ISSN portal. ISSN is like ISBN for periodicals, and it helps identify them. So if you're like, okay, I have this random 8-digit number and a title that looks like it's spelled wrong or maybe incomplete, it's abbreviated, something like that, you can put the two together or use the ISSN to determine what the actual title is, and then you can plug it into the AUL website to see if we have it and go from there. And AI. And I just looked at the time and realized I've been talking very quickly. So I'm going to pause for and open it up for questions or comments before I dive into the AI stuff. My chat here, let me see. On Google Scholar, you can connect to our catalog and get results that are available in our collection. Absolutely. You do have to be signed in to do that, I believe. That's a fabulous feature of Google Scholar. Thank you, Andrew, for pointing that out. Right, I'm doing like the review here, but yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of tools involved in that. Any other questions, comments, anything before we talk about AI? In the room or online? Okay. I'll keep trucking on then. So artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming more and more prevalent, which is great because it's growing and it can do a lot of things, but it's also just the sheer speed at which it is evolving and becoming more prevalent, it can be quite concerning as well. Disinformation and misinformation is a real concern of librarians and people in general, honestly. And we as librarians especially, and informational professionals, we do not want to spread misinformation. That's not our deal. So do verify all facts, statistics, and sources. Make sure if AI tells you something that you're going to give to a student, you know where it came from and that it's not hallucinated, basically. A hallucination is the term for a made up answer created by AI. And generative AI, especially large language models, have been known to do that quite a bit, especially when it comes to citations, because AI is geared to tell you what it believes you want to hear. And that's anthropomorphizing a little bit, but it's an algorithm of probabilities. So it's like, okay, this is what you're looking for. This is the probability that this answer I give you is gonna make you happy, basically. So just keep that in mind. AI has bias. AI can hallucinate, and sometimes you don't know exactly what the process for AI coming up with said answer is. So you want to take that all into consideration. When you're using a prompt for AI or prompt engineering, you'll want to use descriptive, detailed, and specific questions. So this example below, I'm a doctoral candidate researching the implications of disinformation on international security. I want to find resources that accurately describe information warfare tactics and potential diplomatic, economic, and military costs or challenges that the United States is met with as it pertains to disinformation. Can you provide citations for resources that are peer-reviewed along with links to the resources? So a few things that are good about this question. I asked, can you do this? Because if you just assume that it can, it's going to act like it can, and it's going to give you an answer. If you say, can you provide citations, the likelihood of it saying, I can't give you citations, but I found this, are better. And that can be kind of a yellow light moment of being like, okay, let's evaluate this source more critically. Saying who you are and what your the positionality of your question is, oops, I went too far, is a good practice as well. So I'm a doctoral candidate researching implications of disinformation on international. Mouthful, but AI sees that and they're like, okay, you need scholarly resources. And we also spelled that out in the question. Accurate resources, these are the boxes that it needs to check. This is the parameters of the information I need. You want to be as specific as you can when you're working with AI in prompt generation, if you're looking to get specific answers. And then, of course, always review, edit, and evaluate the responses with digital and information literacy standards in mind. So even if you craft the perfect prompt and you get what looks to be the perfect answer, take it with a grain of salt, use your critical thinking skills, check the sources, and keep in mind plagiarism is real too. We don't exactly know where the line on plagiarism and AI is, but we are librarians and information professionals, and we want to operate from a place of academic integrity, and we want to encourage our students to do the same. So that brings me to my don'ts, which are basically the opposite of the do's. Don't use AI answers without reviewing for accuracy. Don't plagiarize or fail to locate and consider the source, which you can plagiarize without realizing it too. If you don't look into what the source is and you just copy paste, it could be straight from someone else's paper. Don't use AI answers without editing, and don't expect AI to do your research for you. Research, especially in the realm of education and PME, I believe is deeply human, and we want to be able to, we want students not just to say, hey, this is what I think, give me sources that feed into this bubble that I'm in, and create more confirmation bias. We want students to think critically about the information they're digesting as well. So AI can be a launching point, but I would not recommend it as your only tool. In this greenish blue, which means go, or good, or okay at least, is research-specific AI. So another administrative thing, these slides are hyperlinked and they will be sent out after the fact to anyone who wants them. So if you want to check out these links such as Elicit, Clarivate, Scholar GPT, etc., you are absolutely able to do so on your own time. Some of them aren't going to be compatible with NIBRNet, so be aware. But research-specific AI works a little bit differently in how the algorithms are trained than large language models. So whereas, and I'm going to skip ahead for a second. Whereas large language models like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, NIBRGPT, and others will often hallucinate or make up answers, and they're getting better, but we need to be aware that this is a thing. Thank you, Justin, for allowing us to use your case study on NIBRGPT. But large language models basically take all of the words on the internet and use them to predict algorithmically what words might come next. And so that's part of why they hallucinate so often. They're like, okay, you're talking about international security, so I'm going to tell you all these other things that I think go along with that. Whereas if we go back to the Elicit, Scholar GPT, or the Clarivate, which I just recently learned about from a webinar, a lot of different databases are adding AI assistants into their databases and things like that. And that can be a little bit better, because what these 3 resources at least do is they take the AI model, filter it through a collection of citations that they actually have, and then constrain the two together so that you're not getting made up stuff. You're just getting stuff that they have, or we don't have this answer for you. I put perplexity on this slide and on the next slide with the asterisk, because it does provide citations of where it gets its information from, but it is not research specific. So that's something they pride themselves on their website. If you ask them, how is Perplexity AI different? Real-time web search, multiple language models, source citations. One of these most distinctive features is its inclusion of inline citations and links to original sources. So that's good, right? We want that. But as we can see, we got Wikipedia and TechTarget here. So maybe not exactly scholarly citations or reviewed original sources. You want to keep those things in mind. Again, effective research questioning is very helpful with these different chat tools. And so share this tab instead. ChatGPT, for example, when I asked it for an analysis of the potential impact of a Chinese invasion on Taiwan, on international security and dime fill, it automatically switched me this time actually to Scholar GPT, and it gave me real citations. However, if you're using the regular Chat GPT and you ask it the same thing, which I might have to copy and paste that, let's see. It'll basically say, I can't do that, but I found some stuff. So it gives you more of a, or an overview, which again is not what I asked for. I asked for resources. And that's where it gets tricky. It's got some resources in here, but it's interpreting those resources for me. And again, what we want to encourage our students to do is think critically and think instead of letting the computer do it for them, would be my take on it. For things like brainstorming, research topics, rewording, things like that, AI can be fabulous, but as a one-stop shop for research, I would recommend the library's website over AI any day. So I'm going to pause again here for questions, because this is the kind of wrap-up slide of my presentation. While I'm checking for questions online, I just want to remind you, I'll be sending out a PDF of this presentation with the hyperlinks. I'll be sending the names of participants to Dr. Rollins for a blue ticket, and I appreciate you all commenting.